Hello, welcome to English Fluent Mind. I'm Taty, your English teacher.
And I'm Glenn. We're so happy you're here with us today.
This podcast will help you practice your English in a fun and natural way, improving your listening skills. Today, we're going to talk about a super interesting topic, dating.
Dating? Taty, have you ever felt nervous on a date because you didn't know what to say in English?
Yes, Glenn. Many English learners get anxious in romantic situations. In this episode, we'll explore the world of dating in English. We'll learn how people meet, what to say on a first date, what to avoid, and some cultural tips from English-speaking countries.
This will be very useful. Many people think they need to speak perfect English on a date.
But that's not true. What really matters is being natural, kind, and respectful. Sometimes a simple phrase like, "It was nice meeting you," is much more powerful than long, complicated words.
Taty, do you think meeting someone new is easier today than it was 10 or 20 years ago?
That's an interesting question. On one hand, it's easier because we can connect with people all over the world through dating apps, social media, or even online classes.
But the problem is that many people don't show their true personality online, right?
Exactly. Online, you can send beautiful messages, use filters, or prepare the perfect response. But when you meet in real life, it's different.
You need to look into someone's eyes.
You need to listen carefully.
And you need to be present in the moment.
That makes a huge difference. And that's why first impressions are so powerful. For example, a smile, a kind word, or a small gesture like opening the door can speak louder than 100 online photos.
True. I remember once I met someone at a cafe, and she simply started a conversation by asking about the book I was reading. It was such a small thing, but it broke the ice. We ended up talking for 2 hours.
That's exactly how it works. Sometimes the best connections start with simple, natural moments.
Teddy, do you remember how someone asked you out for the first time? Was it formal, romantic, or more casual?
I remember it very clearly. It was quite casual. After a class at university, he simply said, "Would you like to grab a coffee later?" I liked that it was relaxed and easy. There was no pressure.
I like that style. Sometimes people think they need to prepare a big plan, like flowers, a fancy dinner, or something dramatic.
But many times the best invitation is simple. For example, "Do you want to walk in the park this weekend?" Or, "Would you like to try that new pizza place?"
Exactly. I think the way you ask is more important than the activity itself. If you're kind and polite, the other person will probably feel comfortable.
And if you are relaxed, the other person also relaxes. That's why I think humor helps. Even a small joke can make an invitation less stressful.
Yes, and also honesty. Instead of playing games, just saying, "I'd like to spend more time with you," is already romantic.
Taty, what do you think people should talk about on a first date?
I think the best topics are positive and safe. For example, hobbies, favorite movies, music, travel, or food. If you ask someone, "What kind of music do you like?" you can open many doors.
I agree. Once I asked someone about their favorite book, and suddenly we were sharing titles, authors, and even planning to exchange books. It created a natural connection.
Yes. On the other hand, there are some topics that might make people feel uncomfortable. For example, money, politics, or too many questions about past relationships. These can feel heavy.
True. A first date is not a job interview. It's not about testing someone, but about creating chemistry.
Exactly. And chemistry doesn't always mean a big romance immediately. Sometimes it's just the feeling that conversation is easy, time flies, and you're both having fun.
Yeah, that's the best sign. If you feel comfortable, it's a good first date. Now, let's listen to a real dating scenario. Meet Alex and Jamie, who are on their first date at a coffee shop.
Hi, Jamie. It's nice to finally meet you in person.
Hi, Alex. Yes, after all those messages, it's great to put a face to the name.
I found us a table by the window. Would you like a coffee or something else?
Coffee would be perfect. I'll have a latte, please.
Great choice. I'll go order. Be right back. So, your profile mentioned you love hiking. Have you been on any good trails recently?
Actually, yes. Last weekend, I went to Mountain Ridge Park. The autumn colors were amazing. Do you hike too?
I do, though I'm more of a casual hiker. I enjoy the views more than the exercise part.
I can relate to that. The photos are always worth the climb.
Definitely. Speaking of photos, I noticed you're into photography.
Yes, it started as a hobby, but now I'm taking some classes. I'm fascinated by street photography, especially.
That sounds interesting. I'd love to see some of your work sometime.
I'd like that. Maybe we could go to the art district downtown. They have some great galleries.
That sounds like a perfect second date.
So there's going to be a second date?
Well, I'm having a great time so far, aren't you?
Absolutely. This is the most comfortable first date I've had in a long time.
Notice how Alex and Jamie keep the conversation flowing by asking questions, showing genuine interest, and suggesting a future activity together. They're building connection through shared interests.
Let's talk about mistakes. What are the biggest don'ts on a date?
For me, one of the worst is checking your phone all the time. It seems like you don't care about the person in front of you.
Oh, yes, that's terrible. Another mistake is talking only about yourself, like giving a long speech about your work or your life. A date should be a conversation, not a monologue.
Exactly. And another red flag is being rude to people around you, like the waiter or waitress. How you treat others shows a lot about your character.
On the positive side, the good things to do are simple but powerful. Smile, ask questions, listen, and show respect.
I agree. And you don't need to pretend. Just be polite and honest. That creates trust.
One thing I always try to do is give compliments, but in a natural way. For example, I like your smile, or that's an interesting story. It shows you're paying attention.
That's perfect. Compliments are great when they're sincere. Not too many, not too heavy, but natural. And after the first date, what's the best way to continue?
I think sending a short message is always a good idea. Something like, "I had a great time, let's do this again." It's simple but shows interest.
Yes, and you don't need to follow old rules like waiting 3 days to call. That feels fake. Just be natural. If you liked it, say so.
Exactly. Life is short and honesty is refreshing. If you had fun, why hide it?
True. And if the other person feels the same way, it could be the beginning of something beautiful. If not, at least you had a good experience.
Yes, and dating isn't just about finding a boyfriend or girlfriend. It's also about learning, growing, and discovering more about yourself.
That's so true. Every date teaches you something, even those that don't turn into a relationship. You learn what you like, what you don't like, and what kind of person you connect with.
Exactly. And when you finally meet the right person, all those experiences make you stronger and more ready for a healthy relationship.
Dating customs vary around the world. Let's hear from some international friends about dating in their countries. Hi, I'm Maria from Brazil. Here, dating is often very social. We usually go out in groups first before having one-on-one dates. Family is very important, so meeting someone's family early on is common and not necessarily super serious.
Hello, I'm Takashi from Japan. Dating in Japan can be quite different. We tend to be more reserved at first. Confession culture is big here. We call it kokuhaku, where one person formally confesses their feelings before officially dating. Group dates, called gokon, are also popular for meeting new people.
Hi there, I'm Sarah from Canada. In my experience, dating here is pretty casual at first. Coffee dates are common for first meetings. We value directness. If someone's interested, they'll usually let you know, and if they're not feeling it, they'll often say so rather than ghost you.
Hello, I'm Omar from Egypt. Dating here is becoming more modern in big cities, but traditionally it's more about courtship leading to marriage. Family involvement is very important, and public displays of affection are generally avoided. Respect and reputation matter a lot.
As you can see, understanding cultural context can help when dating someone from another country. What's considered romantic or appropriate varies widely around the world.
Hello again, friends. Now that you've heard Glenn and me talking about dating, let's break it down step by step.
Let's examine some important phrases we used, explain the meaning, and give examples of how you can use them in your own life.
Yes, keep listening carefully. Remember, don't worry if you didn't understand everything the first time. Study English every day, and little by little, your comprehension skills will get stronger.
You're doing great. I said, do you think meeting someone new is easier today than it was before? This is a useful way to ask for an opinion. You can use the same structure in many situations. For example, do you think learning English is easier today than it was before?
And I answered, in some ways it's easier, but in other ways it's harder. This is a very natural response. You can use it when you want to show both sides of a situation. For example, in some ways, working from home is easier, but in other ways, it's harder.
Then I said, first impressions are so powerful. This is an important phrase in dating and in life. First impressions are the first feelings or ideas someone has about you. For example, first impressions at a job interview are very important.
I added, a smile, a kind word, or a small gesture can speak louder than 100 photos online. This is a very natural expression in English. Speak louder than means that actions are more important than words or images. For example, helping someone speaks louder than just saying you care.
Then I said, the way you ask is more important than the place. This is very true in dating, but also in many other things. Style and respect are sometimes more important than details. You can use it like this. The way you say sorry is more important than the word itself.
I replied, if you are relaxed, the other person also relaxes. This is a great reminder. People mirror your energy. For example, if the teacher is calm, the students also relax.
Later in the conversation, I said, a first date is not a job interview. This is a metaphor. It means don't ask too many serious questions, keep it light. You can use the same idea in other contexts. A family dinner is not a business meeting.
I agreed and said, it's about creating chemistry, not testing someone. Here, chemistry means the natural connection between two people. We can also use this at work. The new team has great chemistry.
I also said, checking your phone all the time feels like you don't care. This is useful not just in dating, but in friendships and work too. For example, during meetings, checking your phone feels like you don't care.
I added, a date should be a conversation, not a monologue. This is a fantastic expression. Monologue means just one person talking. So I'm saying a date should be a two-way conversation. You could also say, a class should be interactive, not a monologue.
Finally, I said every date teaches you something. This is an inspiring idea. It means even if the date isn't perfect, you can learn. For example, every mistake teaches you something.
And I concluded with, when you finally meet the right person, all those experiences make you stronger. This is very encouraging. You can apply it to many areas of life. When you finally get the job you want, all the other experiences make you stronger.
Now let's talk about some important words from the dialogue. The first word is date. A date is an appointment with someone you like, usually romantic. For example, we went on a date at the park. But date can also mean the date of the month. For example, what's the date today?
The second expression is ask out. This means to invite someone on a date. Example, he asked her out for dinner. The opposite could be say no when someone doesn't accept the invitation.
Next word is romantic. Something romantic makes people feel love or affection. For example, candlelight dinner is romantic. The opposite would be boring or cold.
Another important word is boyfriend, girlfriend. These are basic words for relationships. Example, she is my girlfriend. He is my boyfriend. At a more serious stage, you might say partner.
Then we have couple. A couple means two people in a romantic relationship. For example, that couple always travels together.
Another useful phrase is first impression. This is what someone thinks about you when they first meet you. Example, make a good first impression by being on time.
We also mentioned chemistry. This means a natural connection or attraction between people. For example, we had great chemistry from the first conversation.
And red flag. This means a warning sign that something might be wrong.
Example, being rude to waiters is a red flag.
Finally, ghost someone. This means to suddenly stop all communication without explanation. For example, after 2 dates, he ghosted me and never replied to my messages.
Well, Glenn, we've covered a lot about dating in English today.
Yes, from first meetings to conversation topics, from cultural differences to important vocabulary.
Remember, friends, the most important thing in dating and in learning English is to be yourself and enjoy the process.
Exactly. Don't worry about being perfect. Focus on connection and communication.
And practice makes perfect. The more you speak English, the more comfortable you'll feel using it in all situations, even romantic ones.
That's right. And now it's time to say goodbye. Thank you for listening to English Fluent Mind.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. Practice the phrases we taught you, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.